So now let's take a look at her video. Can everybody get over to her channel and give a subscription? Can everybody get over her channel? She's at 1.92 thousand subscribers. This woman, she's at 10,000 subscribers. She's doing the Lord's work over here. She really is. You be the judge, justified or not. Okay. And this is the first video we're going to watch today. And this, here we go.
Hey, lady, get over here. Get over here. You're gonna get shot.
Shoot me. You ain't got no warrant.
Door.
No.
Hey. Hey, hold on.
You ain't got no warrant.
Let's go.
Why are they surrounding her house? I'm a little bit unclear what's going on.
Let's go. Move. Go. Hey, watch out.
And they just start shooting, of course. Hey, YouTube, it didn't show any of the shots. It didn't show anybody get shot, YouTube. Can you leave my channel alone, please?
Hey.
More shots.
Back up.
Keep on shooting, coppers. It's a lady in there, and she said, leave me alone. You better keep on shooting.
Hold on.
You ain't got no warrant.
Oh, okay. Watch out. Go. Get him. Hey, watch out. Okay.
Hey, so if we have all this evidence,
Hold on.
You ain't got no warrant.
Let's go. Come on. Go. Get him. Hey, watch out.
Hey.
Back up.
Jesus.
Hold on.
You
You
gotta
ain't
be.
got no warrant.
Go.
She's not, I don't know if she has a firearm or not, but the idea is you're supposed to be able to have a firearm in your home to push away tyranny. And these are tyrannists. These are the tyranny at your door.
Hey, watch
Hey, watch out.
Why'd they start shooting?
Hey.
Back up.
12:27 a.m. Officers were dispatched to the location for a vandalism incident where a woman cut wires to an alarm panel at an apartment complex. The caller provided officers a detailed description of a Hispanic woman that resided at the complex. Officers contacted the woman outside of the parking lot and identified her before she fled into her apartment, locking herself inside. Officers followed her to her residence located on the first floor.
Where she lives.
Attempting to arrest the woman, officers removed the screen to the window that was already open.
Why couldn't they wait outside if they knew she lived there? That means she has to come out for food or water sooner or later.
Officers observed the woman grab a hammer while inside her apartment.
She grabbed a hammer while inside the apartment. The hammer would have to go through a window at the very minimum to hurt the coppers.
And an officer drew his weapon and notified the dispatcher that he had her at gunpoint.
Because she has a hammer inside of her house.
Additional officers then made the scene. The woman, while inside her home, threw a glass candle at the officers.
She threw a candle at the wall that can't hit the cops through the window. She'd have to shatter the window. It'd have to go through the window to get the coppers.
Striking an officer in the arm, causing minor injuries. A glass candle at the officers, striking an officer in the arm, causing minor injuries. Officers communicated with the woman through the open window for over 30 minutes.
Oh, 30 minutes is enough for your life to be ended. 30 minutes, that's plenty of time for you to decide if the coppers are going to kill you or not.
As officers jumped over the railing to the
I mean, look at this. She cut some wires to the alarm system. She did something wrong. I get it. Yeah. And look at these frothing dog animals. Look at them. Look at them. They got to get her. She cut some wires. You got to get her. And if she tries to defend herself from this, you better kill her.
patio of the residence. The woman ran with a hammer in her hand, striking the window and shattering it.
She broke her own window. Kill that chick.
One officer fired multiple rounds towards the woman, but it did not appear she was struck by the gunfire. The woman moved away from the window, but then came back towards the patio door, still holding the hammer in her hand.
They were afraid for their life from a 5-foot-tall, tiny Mexican woman or Latina woman that she had a hammer. They couldn't have retreated. They couldn't have stepped back and let her calm down.
At this time, 2 other officers shot towards the woman, along with the first officer who fired the first round of gunshots. The woman was struck by the gunfire and later pronounced deceased by...
This is ridiculous. No wonder why DragonNet reached out to me. Ridiculous. She's no threat to anybody. She's going through a manic phase. She needs to calm down. That's it. Instead, they murdered her.
EMS. No one other than the woman was injured by the gunfire. She was later identified as Melissa Perez, 46 years of age.
So 46 years of life is ended because she's having a manic episode and she cut some wires. Obviously, she did something wrong. Sure, I agree. She should be punished for it if there's a punishment for what she did wrong. But you don't need to raid her home as though she's Pablo Escobar and been cutting the tongues out of people.
Here is body camera footage of a second officer at the scene.
Why can't they fall back and just wait for her to come out of her house? They know she lives there. She's got to come out sooner or later for food or water. Go, get over the railing. We have to get her. Watch out. She's throwing a candle. Quick, get your gun.
Here is body camera footage of the third officer at the scene.
So if we have all this evidence,
This frothing dog has got to jump over the rail. We have evidence that you cut wires. Let's say she's guilty. She cut the wires. Let's say she did something wrong. She broke the law. We all agree. Nobody wants criminals. She did it. We know she did it. They got evidence she did it. Nobody's life is at stake. This is not exigent circumstances. This would not reach the criteria of Wilson versus Arkansas of 1995 or Kerr versus California in 1963. There's no reason to enter into her home.
Hold on.
You ain't got no work.
Murder. That's murder. She's got a hammer. They had to kill her because she had a hammer in her hand through the door and through the window. She couldn't have hurt them. She threw a candle through the window that struck an officer. How much did it hurt him? Is he in intensive care today? I hope he lives. She died. They murdered her.
Here is footage from another officer present at the scene.
Look at this rabid dog over here. Look at these dogs. They said we got a lot of evidence against you. Okay, great. Then have it out in a court of law. You coppers don't want me to beat the shit out of you on the streets, which I could do, but I couldn't because you guys would murder me. It's so funny. The cops don't want us to fight them, but they'll so easily invade our homes and murder us.
But who did not discharge their firearm.
Look, he's jumping over a railing because she cut some wires. I mean, look at them. They're chasing her down like she's Pablo Escobar. They're chasing her down like she's Ted Bundy. Get your guns out and shoot into her home. I hope they all get charged with murder, but we have a broken system. It won't matter.
Investigations into deadly force are comprehensive and can take over a year.
Investigations into deadly force are comprehensive. Honey, baby, we saw the video. We don't need a comprehensive year-long investigation. You put it a year away so that emotions die down and the family members, just so you know, when you die, people forget about you within about a year. They pour out a little liquor on the first anniversary of your birthday, and then pretty soon, oh yeah, my uncle died 10 years ago. They just forget about you. You're just a thing of the past. They wait for so long for an investigation so that your family and your friends die down.
Reminder, this is our current understanding of the situation and could change as investigators gather more information. In this incident, the 3 officers were immediately suspended without pay, pending a full investigation.
They should be charged with murder. There's no reason to attack her house that way. There was no reason to jump on her back patio. There was no reason for her to have to pick up self-defense weapons against you. They did too much, and they murdered her.
The department's current understanding is based on both the camera footage.
No, we don't need the department's understanding. We all have eyes. We all can see. You murdered her. That's what happened. We don't need you to explain away what murder is. She did something wrong. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Cutting the wires at your apartment complex is likely illegal. You damaged property. She did something wrong. She broke the law. There's studies that show in your neurology that you have pleasure in watching somebody who did something wrong be punished. That's a fact. It's a clinical fact. So nobody wants her to get away with breaking the law.
And information gathered from officers at the scene. All officer-involved shootings are forwarded to the Bexar County District Attorney's Office.
The Bexar County District Attorney Office work hand in hand with the police every day. They're the cops' friends. The same Bexar County District Attorney's Office, is that the same place from Bab who pulled the guy over and asked him 40,000 questions that we watched from the Institute of Justice? And so now they turned the case over to the cops' friends. When they say they turned it over to the prosecutor's office, just change that to they gave it to the cops' friends to investigate.
For review.
For
As
review.
of this publication, the investigation remains ongoing.
Now I see why DragonNet reached out to me. Now I see why. Now you know why we don't stop until we get to executive power. And look, you guys can see it. This channel and the movement is growing, and it's growing fast. And the reason is because every day when one of these losers comes into my chat and says, oh, he's picking on the cops, and he's got that cop stick all the way down his throat. He's picking on the cops. And then it just happens to your brother or to your cousin or your lover, or to you. And then that same bootlicker ends up subscribing later and saying, Chille, I'm so sorry. I was so wrong. It's so terrible what the cops do to people. You watched a woman get murdered. Yeah, she broke the law. Does everybody agree that we don't want people cutting wires in their apartment complex that goes to everybody else's homes? We don't want that. So there's going to be some sort of law that she's charged with, and then she's going to get her day in court. But instead, they murdered her. And they suspended them without pay. Ooh, you suspended them without pay? But wait a minute. Are they still free to communicate with each other outside of that? Yes, they are. Are they still free to send text messages and emails to their friends at the Bexar County Prosecutor's Office? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Is the chief still going to go sit with the Bexar County prosecutors and say, well, our guys, she had a hammer and she threw a candle through the window. And is the sheriff there? They murdered her. Like that was outright murder. That's what that was. So that makes me sick. I mean, if it makes you sick, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that's disgusting, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that's the grossest thing ever, put a 1 in the chat. That was disgusting what we just saw. There was nothing about that was respectable at all whatsoever. That was pretty nasty. That was pretty gross. And I can't believe that we're watching that. And that there were people who would say, oh, Chille's such a bad person. He's so terrible. Look at him calling out how the cops murdered somebody. What a horrible person he is, saying how the cops would murder somebody. Just terrible. It's so frustrating. Like, it is so frustrating. Like, I just cannot even begin to understand how in the world this can be a thing, that we see this happen and that nothing is done about it, that absolutely nothing is done about it.